Most people simply parrot the idea that barbell squat is the undisputed king of lower body exercise. But is it really? Maybe for some people. But for most people, I think the kettlebell rack squat is even better, and here's why. Before I get into my reasons, I've done my fair share of heavy barbell squats for many years. Like most gym rats, I too believed that the barbell back squat was the all-encompassing lower body exercise. But over time, I started to accumulate injuries, chronic fatigue, and realized that I was lacking in many other aspects of lower body strength. The strength I gained from heavy barbell squats did not mean that I had a strong lower body, other than specifically for doing barbell squats. So I tried many other alternatives and found the kettlebell rack squat to be the best replacement. So the first reason why I think the kettlebell rack squat is probably the best lower body exercise for most average people is that it's a safer and more natural movement. Carrying the kettlebell in the rack position while doing squats is much more comfortable than carrying the barbell, whether on your back or in front of you as a front squat. As you squat down, the weight of the kettlebells is distributed slightly in front of your shoulders area, which means it'll keep your torso more upright during the movement. Unlike the barbell back squat, the kettlebell squat doesn't put as much strain on your spine. Now, on the other hand, the barbell front squat is a kind of an awkward exercise where the barbell sits on your clavicle and shoulders. It really places concentrated pressure due to the bar's small surface area resting on you. The kettlebell rack squat also simulates daily tasks that we may frequently encounter, such as carrying, our kids, maybe like a heavy bag, luggage, heavy sack, groceries, or whatever it may be. The second reason is that the kettlebell rack squat engages your whole body in a more balanced way. If you've done heavy barbell squats to point of near failure or up to failure, you know that there's a lot of pressure concentrated on your legs and your lower back or hip area. We push up the barbell on our back by driving our hips and legs upwards, putting a ton of pressure on our spine as we try to maintain a somewhat natural upright torso. But when doing the kettlebell squat, it engages your back muscles and the front muscles equally to distribute the load better. As you go heavier on the kettlebell squat, you will realize that you have to engage your lats, your traps, your upper back, and your lower back as much as your abs and shoulders in order to maintain a more natural upright torso, keeping the kettlebells in the rack position. The third reason is that you can't go as heavy. Yep, that's right. I think this is a big positive compared to the barbell squat where you can continue to significantly overload the bar, almost endlessly. Most people have no need to maximize lower body strength by overloading the barbell unless you are specifically competing on doing barbell squats or just looking to be able to barbell squat more and more weight over time. As I mentioned before, the lower body strength that I accumulated over time by doing barbell squats didn't really make me better or stronger in doing other things other than just doing heavy barbell squats. On the other hand, for the kettlebells, you need to pick them up from the ground and place them on the rack position, kind of around your shoulders area, which basically limits the amount of weight that you can lift. But again, for most people, heavy kettlebells are plenty enough to build strong lower body to stay fit and live a healthy life. For most people, there's really no need to go extra heavy doing barbell squats, which could potentially expose you to a high risk of injury, which brings me to the last point. The kettlebell rack squat has a much lower risk of injury. Due to the mechanics of the kettlebell squat that I've described before, it's much more unlikely for you to get injured doing it compared to doing barbell squats. The risk of injury is significantly lower than when doing the barbell squat. And not only that, you will not run into the risk of getting crushed under the kettlebells the way you potentially might when using the barbell. Recently, I think we have heard that there is a bodybuilder who died when he couldn't get the weight up when doing heavy barbell squat, and then he got crushed by the barbell. When doing heavy barbell squats and you are about to fail, you have to rely on safety pins, or you have to be able to re-rack the weight properly on the squat rack in order for you to safely exit the exercise. Luckily with the kettlebells, if you just can't push the weight up, you can just kind of drop them in front of you and you'll be okay. Just make sure you don't crush your toes, basically. But for the most part, this almost never happens, again, because you cannot go so heavy with the kettlebells that you cannot push the weight back up. When doing heavy kettlebell squats, the limiting factor for the most part is going to be the number of reps, because you're going to have to do a lot more repetitions than you would when you're doing the barbell squat. So therefore, usually when you fail, it's not because the weight is too heavy, but it's because your muscles have been fatigued and reached to a point where you can no longer perform another clean kettlebell squat. So those are the top reasons why I think the kettlebell squat is the best lower body exercise for most people. Again, it's not for everybody because we all have different goals. If you are actually competing specifically on doing barbell back squats, or if it is in your interest to just be able to do more on the barbell back squat, then by all means continue to do barbell back squats. But for most people, most average people like myself who just want to get fit, want to have, decent strength and flexibility and overall fitness, the kettlebell squat is way better, and it's definitely enough of a weight that you can lift in order to build enough muscle, strength, and endurance. So that's it for the video today. I hope you found this helpful. As always, thank you for watching, and leave any questions that you may have in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.